Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.
Matt Rife, Joe Rogan, Langston Kerman, three of the greatest comedic minds of all time. Welcome, little mamas and Gentiles alike, to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me.
The podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally work to prove the conspiracies of you, the listeners. It's a motherfucking mini episode.
What a foul man you are. How dare you? What a sick fuck you are.
Hey, any promo is good promo, baby. Let's go.
It's going to be a wild August on Netflix.
I'm going to watch one out of the three.
Come on. I'm going to watch all three, but I'm only going to feel good during some of it. And I won't tell you which some that is. Remember, I hate myself. So it may not be me. It may not be me that I enjoy.
Oh, man. All in jest, though. Watch Langston's special August 20th. It's going to be great. I'm very excited.
And watch David's special August 1st, right?
August 1st. Payday,
August
you
1st.
bitch. I know when you get paid. Pay up. Well,
what are you doing?
It's a McDonald's run.
That's it?
It's a McDonald's run.
That's crazy.
Alone, if you got a girl, you might. I don't know what your situation is.
You're fucking up if you got a girl. You got to really come out of pocket.
They always want McFlurries and all kinds of complicated shit.
Right. That's what makes it crazy. Is like you're eating like my girl will order weird proportions of small food and then get an extravagant additional thing that costs me the most money.
Brother, we're going to. She wants to go to Wendy's for a strawberry lemonade, and then it's already fucked. It's already backwards.
That's not why you go to Wendy's.
What are you doing? I'm hungry.
Go to Wendy's for a spicy chicken sandwich or a square burger.
That's about all they got in my brain. That's all they have.
Listen.
We could talk about Wendy's all day.
We could talk about Wendy's and the women all day, but we can't because we got an email from a person who, let's make sure that they don't, no name is how they've identified themselves. So
perfect.
We'll respect that, but they sent us a email that said the gifted and talented classes were where they sent neurodivergent students. Okay.
Interesting. I think we have two sides of this. You being a teacher, me never having been in a gifted and or talented class.
Never once? You never had like one class that they sent you to?
Bro, it's embarrassing because here's the issue. Iowa test of basic skills, amazing. Actual classroom application of said skills,
I got you.
Poor.
Yeah.
Poor marks. I was failing classes from when you could fail classes.
Whoa. What you needed was like a cool teacher to turn his chair around and be like, Biggie Smalls and William Shakespeare are actually kind of the same.
You're making a joke? That is what I needed. I needed Antonio Banderas to teach me and my fellow miscreants how to dance, and then I would have loved school.
Yeah, you would have found the passion that wasn't there before.
I'm the man now, dog. That's what I needed.
You're the man now, dog.
And I never got it. So here I am, podcasting. Did you ever teach gifted and or talented?
I was in honors classes, and then I taught at a school that if I'm remembering correctly, we had an honors English, and then we had a more like, traditional English class, but there was no, we had no like special ed, for lack of better verbiage, at the school. So it was just like regular class and honors classes. But I do recognize that that sometimes your behavior in school is not necessarily a reflection of what might be a larger struggle you might have out in bigger society.
Keep it going. I mean? Come Come on, I
right?
hate
That
school.
like you can be in school and sort of be thriving in a way that is not reflective of how you'll thrive out in the world, and vice versa. You can be in school struggling, and as it turns out, it's just this environment more than it is your like literal inability to process or figure out how to navigate a human space.
Facts. And also just my faith in the schooling system would place neurodivergent people more into PE class than I think they would have found it and put them in a gifted space.
Yeah, we should read the email, but I immediately have my skepticisms at this premise. If I'm being
and this is not,
completely
I'm not
honest.
ass betting. I have it in my family directly. Like, I don't want to sound like very ignorant of
Yeah,
the problems that these people face.
frankly, I'm sure we do, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think, we're gonna get this wrong, and that's gonna be okay. And you're gonna, maybe a few of you will be mad at us for that, and we'll try our best to I don't know, have fun.
And by try our best, he means talk shit about you in the group chat.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be real mean about you in the group chat.
We don't like you. You want to read it or you want me to?
I can read this one.
Right,
it
let's
says,
go.
"Gonna get straight into it. I came across a TikTok this weekend, and I'm still in shook. Oh, I'm still shook. I'm being shitty. I'm still shook. In it, the woman says, I saw this thing on Facebook that was like, if you were in the gifted and talented classes in the 90s and early 2000s, how's your ADHD, high functioning anxiety, and perfectionist based procrastination going? Pause. I thought they put in those classes because I was smarter than everybody else." And he or she leaves a lot of TikTok evidence, which I haven't watched, but goes on to say, at 34, I'm coming to terms with what has clearly been 34 years of undiagnosed shit wrapped in a high achiever who gets so overwhelmed, I just quit. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. The theory, not me, and my shit I'm working through. I'm a huge fan of the podcast, and I need y'all to get more listeners so it never goes away. Me too. I
Come on. What do you
I
think I'm
think
doing
David
here?
and I share that sentiment. We'd like more people listening so that we don't have to go away. And
Do you think Langston wants to teach again?
boy, not you niggas. I'll teach y'all versions of niggas.
And for me, this is all I got.
I listen every Tuesday morning when I'm making breakfast. I start my day just laughing, and please give yourselves more credit. Y'all offer intelligent, nuanced takes, and I'm going to need y'all to claim that. It seems like this goes on to be a lot of very glowing, sweet things, which I'm not going to read. That feels a little too warm for my
have you picked up on a theme? We can't accept it. You might as well not send it.
Yeah, these are very sweet words, and they mean the world to us. And shut the fuck up. Keep doing what you're doing. They say you are making this weirdo laugh every week. Signed, no name. I'm trying to think about. This is maybe a good place to start this conversation, because this is also the shitty unlearning that I need to do as a older person now with this new language sort of being applied. Is I often associate neurodivergence with what is in school labeled as like special needs. And I don't know that that's what neurodivergence implies. I think the implication is it's any sort of like mental health issue or sort of issue. Even sounds like an awful word sort of, but you get what I mean. Just like it's a mental health situation more than it is necessarily like a actual like, oh, you're dyslexic or you're fucking, whatever.
Which, from what I understand, that's more on the neurodivergent side as opposed to depressed.
But I guess based off of what this person's saying, the ADHD, the anxiety, the perfectionist based procrastination, all of these things fall under the window or the umbrella of neurodivergence, which I don't think I think of when obviously ADHD, yes, but the others I don't think I think of when I think of neurodivergence.
Yeah, I think it's complicated. I think, to be very fair to this person, I think I come with a skepticism with the just massive amounts of people self-diagnosing in my face constantly.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. That's a bias that I have definitely, in that, like, I just see what, my own family specifically had to go with it through what is a very difficult problem, to then sometimes you just see white ladies on the internet who are like, I can't keep my internet job because I'm autistic. And it's like,
yeah, I don't think that's the same thing, baby girl.
Oh, here we go. Bay coming through. Although neurodiversity is usually used to describe a group of neurodivergent individuals, it also refers to all of humankind because everyone has a unique way of processing information. A quote-unquote neurodivergent person refers to a person on the autism spectrum, or one generally to someone whose brain processes information in a way that is not typical of most individuals.
Okay, so I think I think your interpretation of it being more in line with like autism is the correct definition. And then there's a broader sort of interpretation of, ain't we all neurodivergent because we all sort of like approach the world in our own special way.
Right. Everyone's beautiful, but not everyone's Janae Aiko. Come on. I did that for you.
It could only be for me. I check my DMs every morning hoping that she's sobered up and come around.
You think she's going to slide into yours?
Well, I can't on account of this dastardly family I've built. But in a world where she, a lady who's, I think, only loosely married to Big Sean, they got a baby, but that could go away at any time.
A lot of people got a baby.
A lot of people got a baby, myself included. If she ever gets her shit together, we could be something.
Anyways, I think that's a part.
Who's your dream lady? Who's when you're like, this is the one that I'd run away and build a life. Here we go.
There's no one.
There's no one.
It's like an amalgamation of several powerful and some troubling women.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to go into it. I'm a weird guy. I like weird flavors.
Okay. It was a real non-answer, and I respect it. I respect your privacy. This is the
All
first
I will
time
say is that she's probably older than you think.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
But back to the idea of that being the way that sort of by happenstance was where they put all those kids into the smart and gifted classes. And I know you're an educator, so I'm trying to handle this with kid gloves, but the ability of someone special to slip through the cracks of the public education system will never cease to amaze me. I don't think that there's like some type of system where they're finding all these special people and putting them together.
I will say this. One of the things that I do remember having read and having felt, even as an educator, was that, and I think there's a lot of studies that sort of prove this now, is that homework to some extent is bullshit, right? Like there is not a lot of evidence that sending a child home to do 3 to 4 hours worth of like additional studying is actually adding to their ability to process, retain the information that they're engaging with. That like it's actually much more sort of like it's busy work, and it's forcing them to like strategize. Like that's a skill they're learning in terms of like how to scam, how to maneuver, how to like complete a thing that they don't necessarily get the information out of, but it's not making them a smarter individual to go and do all this homework, right?
So essentially what you're saying is the gifted kids are actually sneakier than us regulars.
Well, that's sort of what I'm getting to is I think there's a part of it that when you ask a child to do more is not necessarily a reflection of their gifts or their talents as much as it is their ability to like multitask and maneuver and sometimes cheat on a higher level. Right.
Well,
like,
and this is another question, and this is truly like a real question I have. Within gifted and talented programs, I never understood, was it a larger workload or was it just more difficult courses? I truly don't know.
I think it was a combination. I think we took on, at least, in my experience in school, and certainly when I was teaching, we would take on books that were different or certainly more intensive than the books that I was asking of my other students. And then additionally, I think it was like, the demand in terms of like what you were writing or what you were like saying about the literature we were reading was also bigger, right? You had to write longer essays with more detail than you did.
You guys didn't have to read Night by Elie Wiesel. Yeah, you have to read The Giver. You think you're better than me?
Yeah, my freshman read Night. Those Regos. But yeah, I think to that point, the ask is really just teaching kids how to fucking be adults and get the work done even when you ain't do the work. You know what I mean? And so with that, I don't know that gifted and talented was as much about like a smart kid as it was about a kid who understood how to move through the system more effectively than kids who were sort of like, fuck it, this is what I'm willing to do and I'm not willing to like explore further.
There you go. Which, because granted, not one of my skills. I understand why I wasn't in there.
Yeah. And I remember having a bunch of friends like that where it's like, I don't know that I'm like smarter than you. I just like will spend the hour pretending and a bunch of y'all won't. You're just going to be like, the teacher will be like, go do this. And you'll be like, I'm not going to do that. And you'll take the fucking C in the class because you just skip a bunch of assignments.
I have nothing. That's a pretty correct assessment. I think that's a pretty correct assessment of what that is. All that being said, to go back to this initial point that this person made, I think that because it is a spectrum, I think it's hard to be like, oh, they all got grouped over there, because there's just like so many different levels of functionality, whatever that means. Like that, it's like, I don't think that it was like, oh, we put them all in this class because they're all like this. I think that some of them probably were. I'm sure there were neurodivergent people there. I think there were neurodivergent people in your health class. You know what I mean? I don't think that by putting that label of gifted and talented, that's where they all ended up.
Yeah, I think the terrible thing.
I did not watch the TikToks either, though. So
no, we didn't watch the TikToks, and maybe we should. The terrible thing about the 90s and the 2000s is we mostly only had categories that were negative. We were truly we were assigning children to special, quote unquote, special ed classes for the purpose of treating them negatively in some ways, or at least labeling them somewhat negatively. And there was no chance of putting somebody in a gifted and talented class because their specific autism actually empowered them in a way that we weren't, you know what I mean? That we couldn't acknowledge, whatever. So who knows? I think there were probably a lot of autistic people in all versions of the classes. And unfortunately, unless you were being put in, on the fourth floor with the bad kids,
right,
there was no way to know what you were going through at that period.
Exactly. I think the only thing that we can all agree on is that the bad kids went to school in the portables.
for us, it was the top floor. For some people, it's the portables. I think as long as they were sectioned off, as long as they were sectioned off and they had different bells, then yeah,
they were on different tracks. Did you ever? I remember in high school, my friends who went to alternative high school, I was like, man, that sounds so much more fun. Because, like, yeah, everything was track. Nothing was work, but everything was tracks, and everybody was smoking cigarettes. You couldn't play football, but other than that, it seemed like a good time.
Bro, there were some kids at my school whose day ended at like 1 p.m. Do you know what I mean? Where they were just like, we did everything we could do with you today. You go ahead, get out of here. And then they would just hang around and terrorize us. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't because it was such a big school, security would, like, if they could find them, they would, like, kick them out, whatever. But, like, they'd just be hanging out and doing bad shit. And then I'd go to the bathroom and suddenly I'm leashed into some bad shit that I didn't expect to be a part of. But, like,
and I mean,
truly.
What does that do to a kid's psyche? You end school at 1 o'clock, the same as the kindergartners.
Every day is just a half day because you've exhausted these adults' resources too much.
That being said, when Project 2025 gets a hold of education, I think things are going to be a lot different. Right?
We're going to see a big turnaround when old 2025 finally locks in. Amen to that, brother. I think we did the best something. We could. I don't know that we nailed this one. I'm going to be honest with you. This feels like maybe too heavy of a lift for us to take on, and that's okay. Sometimes we got to mind our fucking business and leave it to smarter people to be able to have a more mature conversation.
That being said, thank you for the email. Thank you for the nice things you said about us.
It was very nice of you, and we hope not to disappoint you like this again in the future.
Langston, do you have any?
Follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms. And August 20th, watch my special Bad Poetry on Netflix. And Bori, what you got?
Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram, patreon.com/David Borie, Gborie. My special Birth of a Nation coming out August 1st. I'm very excited about it. It's very funny. Go to the Patreon where you can purchase it for $12. Also have like 34, 35 free videos that you can watch on there to supplement your $12. So if you price it out by video, it's like 5-cent videos or some shit like that.
That's awesome. And they can already purchase it now. They can already...
this will be after the 1st. So yeah, it's so funny. I mean, you guys have seen all the press by this point. Tiana Taylor loves it. Janae Aiko. Brandy Norwood DM'd me. I call her by her last name as well. You know, just all the real titans of show business
have
gotten on board.
Songstresses that you're horny for have already.
Monica loves it.
Monica loves it. And
huge.
And that also means then C Murder loves it. And that's pretty cool.
I have mixed feelings about it.
And as always, if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, if you want to explain to us what terrible mistakes we made in communicating our thoughts today, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Oh, buy the merch.
Buy the shirts? Shirts.
Yeah, the shirts, the hats, the pins, they're all available. Subscribe, like, be a good person. That's it. Okay. Bye, bitch.
I'm a very good bad boy. I'm a very good bad boy.
Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.